Okay, everyone, here we are, man. This is the review for Boston's debut album, Boston. Fantastic album, man. If ever there's an album worthy of a 5 out of 5, definitely it's this particular album. I know that it's great. I know it's legendary, and it's set a whole bunch of records and whatnot. On a personal note, man, I consider it to be one of the best collective albums contained within all of these excellent songs. Love the musicianship, love the harmonies, love the lead singer's vocals, his voice, his range. Yo, man, what is there not to like about this album? If you are one of those rare birds of paradise, if you are one of these creatures out there walking the planet that does not like Boston, a great number of the songs or their style or whatever the case is, if you don't like this album, let me know who you are and tell me why you don't like it. And like I said previously, man, I don't care what genre you were brought up on. I don't care what walk of life you're from. If you sit for a while and you listen to this album, you are definitely going to like it. You're going to come out of it with lots and lots of value. You're going to come away from it feeling enriched. Definitely, this is a sweet album, and that's how I describe it. Lots and lots of sweetness within. So, yeah, man, you birds of paradise out there, if there are any who does not like this album, let me know who you are and let me know why. I know there won't be any. Anyway, man, so I want to do just a little background here, man, on Boston, and get an idea for where they come from, how this album came about, a little background. What's more intriguing about the music itself is the background of the music, how it came about, the people that got inspired and stirred, and all of the different avenues they have to navigate to get this music to us. That is what really, really gets me. So let's just do a short, quick read on this debut album, man, and see what Wikipedia has to teach us. So, Boston. Boston is the debut studio album by American rock band Boston, produced by Tom Scholz and John Boylan. The album was released August 25, 1976 in the US by Epic Records. Scholz had studied classical piano in his childhood and became involved in the Boston music scene in the late 60s. He subsequently started to concentrate on demos recorded in his apartment basement with singer Brad Delp. And although their previous group, Mother's Milk, had received numerous rejection letters from major record labels in the early 70s, by 75, the demo tape had fallen into the hands of CBS-owned Epic Records, who signed them. Wow. It's like that great, I don't know what you call it. Is it a cruel irony? I'm not sure, but some of the greatest people who have accomplished things have had so many rejections. Michael Jordan being denied being able to play for his high school basketball team like 5 times. Bruce Lee being rejected. Luciano Pavarotti, that's a famous story about him being rejected and being denied the opportunity to sing because they didn't think that he was good enough. I remember John Bonham of Led Zeppelin getting, I don't know if he was fired from the jazz club that he worked at, but his manager said something like, stick to what you were doing before because you're not going to amount to much as a drummer. Can you believe that, man? So these great overcomers, man, it's really, really interesting to know their story. Okay. And of course I lost my damn way. Where was I, man? Alright, there we go. Epic Records wanted the band to record in LA with a record producer, but Scholz was unwilling and wanted to record the album in his basement studio, so he hired Boylan to run interference with the label. In an elaborate ruse, Schultz tricked the label into thinking the band was recording on the West Coast, when in reality, the bulk was being tracked solely by Schultz at his Massachusetts home. The album's contents are a complete recreation of the band's demo tape and contains songs written and composed many years prior. The album's style, often referred to as the Boston Sound, was developed through Schultz's love of classical music, melodic hooks, and guitar-heavy rock groups such as the Kinks and the Yardbirds, as well as a number of analog electronic effects developed by Schultz in his home studio. Schultz would later found Schultz Research and Development Inc. to market many of his inventions that he used in developing the sound on the album. Wow. Groundbreaking. The album was released by Epic in August of '76 and sold extremely well, breaking sales records, becoming the best-selling debut album in the US at the time, and winning the RIAA Century Award as best-selling debut album. The album's singles, most notably More Than a Feeling and Long Time, were both AM and FM hits, and nearly the entire album receives constant rotation on classic rock radio. The album has been referred to as a landmark in the 1970s rock and has been included on many lists of essential albums. The album has sold 17 million copies in the US alone and 25 million worldwide. Okay. Boston is mainly composed of songs written many years prior to their appearance on the album. Schultz wrote or co-wrote every song on the first album, with the exception of Let Me Take You Home Tonight, written by Del, played virtually all of the instruments, and recorded and engineered all the tracks. The Boston Sound combines big, giant melodic hooks with massively heavy, classically inspired guitar parts. For Schultz, the idea of being vocal harmonies was inspired by the left bank, and the guitar-driven aspect was influenced by the Kinks, the Yardbirds, and Blue Cheer. Blue Cheer. Never heard of Blue Cheer. Let me know who that is. Another signature element of the Boston Sound in terms of production involves the balance between acoustic and electric guitars. To this end, Schultz was inspired by his childhood listening of classical music, noting that the basic concept of setting the listener up for a change that is coming in the music has been explored for hundreds of years in classical compositions. The record also makes use of multiple-part harmonized guitar solos and Baroque melodic devices known as mordents. Reception. The album soared with 3 singles becoming top 40 hits. All 8 of the songs on the album received regular airplay on classic rock radio stations decades later, taking a mere 3 weeks to earn an RIAA Gold Record Award in 1976 and a platinum album after 3 months on November 11, 1976. It was the fastest-selling debut album for any American group. It has continued to sell very well, accumulating 9 million in sales by the 10th anniversary in '86, reaching diamond in 1990, and 17 times platinum by 2003. Man. Last paragraph. Legacy. Boston has been described as a pivot in the transition of mainstream American rock from blues-based proto-metal to power pop, combining some of the ebullience of the rock era's early days with the precision and technology that would mark rock record productions from then on. All 8 songs, most commonly the album's A-side, are in constant rotation on classic rock radio. Boston's success ushered in the next wave of producer rock, and critics accused the band of creating the corporate rock sound. Okay. Following the album's success, its sound became imitated by several other prominent rock bands of the era. The record created a reference point for production values and studio technology that would stand for years. The album is hailed as one of the greatest in rock history, with an inclusion in the book of 1001 albums you must hear before you die. The album was also ranked number 43 on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's definitive 200 list. All right, man. So that is Wikipedia Song Fact info on Boston's debut album. Fantastic, man. What a great, great accomplishment. I know they did more, but even if it was just this alone, that is enough to elevate them to the status of well-accomplished rock stars, rock gods, whatever. And yeah, man, fantastic combination of songs, their harmonies, vocalizing, musicianship, everything is on point. And reading here, they definitely blaze the trail where technology is concerned, where standards of recording is concerned, recording management, all of those different things. So they're very, very important pillars in the history of rock and roll. So great accomplishment, man. So man, let me just scroll down here, check my notes here before I bounce. Okay, all right. So before the end of the month, where are we here? If you're seeing this on the 29th, I've got Gone Too Soon series coming up featuring Randy Rhoads. And on the last day of the month, I'm going to do another Van Halen reaction. And this is featuring a guitar solo by Eddie Van Halen. And so that will wrap up my Van Halen Artist of the Month, and hopefully we're not going to have too many issues with that. And apologies, man, for this month. Van Halen content has been getting slashed left and right, so I know that there's quite a lot of them that you haven't seen. All I can tell you is just check my other platforms, man, if you are missing something. I know that a lot of them are blocked in some areas, some have been pulled. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. Just check my other platforms. Okay, and so my last note is Artist of the Month. So right now, by now, you know that we are in a deadlock tie between The Doors and Aerosmith. And so if by the last day it's still a deadlock tie, I'm going to have my bronze level patrons do the tie-breaking vote. So we'll just go by there and then see what happens. Yeah, it's been great, but I definitely will not do two Artists of the Month at the same time. Anyways, man, so that is my notes. That is my review of this excellent album by Boston. Can't say enough about how great it is, and I look forward to perhaps doing more. Let me know if there are other bits of music or albums from Boston that you think is worth a listen, and I'll definitely check it out. You know, what are being enough material for triple or a quad, or maybe even possibly a full album reaction. Let me know that. In a perfect world, I prefer to break up the music so that I could really get into each individual song, because I feel that I'm slightly missing out on researching each individual song, because sometimes there's such detailed information of one particular song. On the other hand, though, I understand the importance of a full album reaction, so I'm not completely ruling against it, or you know what I'm saying. So we'll see, but let me know what you think I should do next where Boston is concerned. Send me your recommendations and we'll go from there. All right, man. Hope you enjoyed my reaction and my review, and this was fantastic. A great highlight. You know, I've been looking to do this for quite a while, so finally, I'm glad I had the opportunity at the time to do it. All right, man. You guys have yourselves a great day, and I'll catch you in my next reaction. Peace.